Hello and welcome back. This is Ryan again. We're going to be on the next part here. So we're going to continue to work on the refinement of these legs. Like we had done before, we had our curves, right? But then we also had these sections here. So we're actually going to be using a technique called sub-D modeling. That is a subdivision modeling to be able to model this. So let's work on this little piece down here. This will probably be good for us to probably start with. So we need to be able to add a little bit of geometry to this and get the curves the way we want it. So how do we do that? We're going to go in and use the connect or cut loops to be able to add some extra loops in here, right? And I basically just clicked here and put it down the middle. So I'm going to put that back like so, and I'm going to get rid of this selection. All right, so we got this and this. Oops. Okay, so with that, I'm basically going and double clicking to be able to edge loop this, and then I'm holding down Shift to be able to click on that one, and then double clicking, so I have this all refined essentially. So from here, I'm going to add a beveled edge around like this, but I'm also going to add one segment like this. So you'll see here that this is one way to do it. There are several ways to do this. There's all these little tools that can help you create different either bevels or connects or edge slides. Like there's a lot of different things that we can get into to be able to model our objects. This is bevel. Bevel can be used in many different ways, but typically bevels or chamfers are used on edges. And I did select edges. However, this is still completely flat as an object. I will be adding more bevels on the actual edges here in a moment. However, I need this because I need to be able to get a little bit of geometry to get this curve the way I want it. So from here, I'm basically just like adding this like so, and creating that like so. Now, I'm going to go to edit mode or a vertice mode and select some of these vertices like so. Up on the corners. Alright, and then I'm going to go to scale and kind of move them down a little bit, like so. And then same thing for some of these. I'm going to do some of this here. Okay, and continue to kind of move that down a little bit like so. Okay, and maybe a little less than that. Okay, so that's going to generally be the shape. Now I will go and select all of the edges along here, along the silhouette. Silhouette is very important in 3D, so making sure that it fits the silhouette is a constantly checking back and forth between our object and the silhouette. So now that I have all this, and I'm going to use that bevel again, right? So if I go up to edge and go to bevel edges like that, this allows you to add a chamfer or a bevel around the entire object like so. I think there was also Control and B for a hotkey for that. Hotkeys are very important. I would definitely suggest to be able to use them whenever you can. And it is contextual to whatever software you're using. Being able to use hotkeys or making your own hotkeys to be able to help with your workflow is always a good idea as a professional. So with this, now you see that some of our edges are basically jaggy or faceted. And so what's happening is that our smoothing groups on this, or the hard and soft edges, are not smooth. So we need to be able to have them be smooth. There's a couple different ways to do this, but I want to make sure that it's all kind of consistent. So I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to deselect everything. And then to deselect, I basically just clicked off into space. And I'm going to select all like that, and I'm going to go to face and then shade smooth. So now if I go back to my object mode, you see that it is not faceted at all. And I could actually go and add a subdivision modifier to this as well if I wanted. But we're basically going to use this workflow for the top asset here. And then once we have that, we'll be able to have one of our legs, and then we'll do some work here, and then we'll have 4. So let's go ahead and work on the same process with this one. So you'll notice that it is also still curved, right? So we're going to use that same process. So we're going to go into edit, and we're going to 1, 2, okay, and then click out here to change that. Select these. Okay, and then I'm going to do the bevel again, the bevel trick, like so. Okay, and I'm actually going to add another one that's going to be here. So one thing that you can do is you can actually click, and then you can also drag as well along this axis. And that's just a thing with the cut loop. Like that is a cool little feature that allows you to add that. I'll move that a little further down, like so. Okay, and then we'll select our corner verts again. Okay, give it a slight little curve, and then we'll do the same thing for our next set, giving it a subtle little movement like so, and then we'll select all of our corners like so. Better on the silhouette. Now, just to make sure, we're also going to hit these top ones as well, because I kind of like to have the entirety of the asset to kind of be similar. And then we'll use that bevel again. So go ahead and add that back on. Okay, have it nice and chunky. So one thing that is a little fun fact, I'm actually gonna go and do a quick test on this so you can see the difference here. Okay, so let's say I want to do that same bevel, right? But I want to have it like real chunky, right, on that one, right? And then on this one, I'm going to have it have the same bevel, and I'm going to do it real tiny, like that. And then I'm going to do one that's kind of in the middle. So, oops, go back to edit mode. Okay. Alright, so this one's kind of in the middle, like so. And I'm going to deselect everything, then reselect and smooth, like so. Do the same thing on the other ones, and mostly just this one, that's fine. Deselect, select all. Alright, so you can kind of see that with the bevels, you can see the ones like very tight, one's a little bit more broad, and one's very broad, right? And so one thing that you can kind of tell, like from distance, is that with a little bit of a broader bevel, it actually reads better from distance. So you don't necessarily want to make it always really tight. Sometimes you do. So don't be afraid to do it tight. But then you also want to do stuff that's a little bit broader as well. So just food for thought. All right. So now we basically have one of our legs. So with this, I'm actually going to go and do a small collection. So I'm going to put all these into that collection. I'm going to name this leg A1. Okay, And now I should be able to take all of these and kind of get them generally into place. So now I'm going to go to the top view and go to the wireframe, and I'm going to put these generally in the corner, like so. Okay, and take all this, copy, paste, move it over. Okay. Might have to do my selections here in a minute because it needs to be able to have it in a better way. Okay, so there's your general legs there. We'll also go and refine this a little bit here. So let's do this as like legs. That's fine. Alright, so we still have a couple other things to be able to check out here. So we have a little bit more of a refinement on this piece here. So you'll notice that there is it's beveled, and it also has what's called an inset. So we need to be able to remake that. So from here, we can go into our object edit mode, and we're going to do face select on the top and the bottom. So with this, make sure to hit shift to be able to select it, because if you use control on that, it's actually going to get the side as well, which we don't want. We don't want that side. So if you use shift, that will only get these two. It won't actually go in between that. Let me also have an example of what I meant by that. So let's say like this asset. So if I go and do this one, right? If I do shift like that, it'll do just this one and that one, right? But if I do control, it'll do everything between the two. So that's like the key difference there. And this is actually very, very useful to be able to like say like I want to go from here to there. It'll actually interpolate between the two. So it is a powerful way to select things. So don't be afraid to go back and forth between the two. Okay, back on track. There's always little nuances to modeling things. You can learn this stuff for a long time and always get a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to do inset. So we're going to inset the face, and we're going to move in like about there or so. So always reference our reference here. So now we're going to use extrude, and we're actually going to go inward like this. So that kind of gets us close to what we need there. Okay. All right. So that's generally what happened. But you see that we actually got one that was both down here and down there. I don't want that. I actually want it to be going inward on both. So I'm actually going to face extrude along normal. So what does that do? That actually allows it to be extruding out on both normals. So what's a normal? A normal is the direction that something is pointing. So how do we know which way is up and which way is down, right? So let's say, let's have one that's a little bit more advanced. So let's do like this, and then go back to here, right? So we can tell that with this one here, it's a flat surface, right? In that if we go to extrude the face, it's going to extrude away from that normal, right? You could also go inward as well to extrude that way. But what would happen on one of these curved ones, right? So it's not necessarily going to be going directly outward, right? It has a little bit of a curve to it. And so if we extrude along the normal, it's actually going to extrude this. This is the normal. That's what I mean by the normal. Normal is contextual to different things, but that is generally what a normal means. Okay. Okay, let's do. All right, that piece is good. We'll do a little bit more refinement on this top piece here, and we'll do a little bit more, and then I'll probably take another cut and then do the last piece. All right, so similar thing here. We have like these edges that are like inset and then extruded out, and then a little bit of bevel. But you also have on top of this, we have this like pattern as well as this small little edge here that is inset in there. So we're gonna add that in there. So generally, we can kind of look at this and then do a general inset. So let's do face inset and then do a little bit like so. Let's get this edge profile real close. All right, so we're gonna do one, and then we're gonna go up, normal, like so, and then do another inset. Okay, and then do a small little one. All right, so that's like the 1, 2, 3, right? And then we're gonna do a large one to get the inset on that. All right, do one more larger one, like so. Okay, and then we'll also do this bottom one too. So we'll do the same kind of deal, but on the bottom. All right. Okay. All right, so that's generally the silhouette, right? We basically have the silhouette down. We still have a couple other parts, and after that I'll do the high poly version, but we need to get a little bit more with this and maybe that, and then we'll probably be done the blockout phase. Okay, so now we need to be able to get like a little bit more on this bottom here. So let's do a little bit more. So we're going to do face extrude down and then get the selection on this. So get like so. And then do a little bit more. I like that. Very good. Okay, that's basically what we want, but we need to maybe make this go up a little bit more, because you can see on here that's not quite right. So I actually want to do growing my selection. So here's another way to select things. So if I go and select this and hold down Control and the plus button, and this will actually grow my selection, and you can actually go and subtract your selection by doing Control plus the minus button. So you can do that additively and subtractively. So with that, I'm just going to move this up a little bit so that it kind of matches that. Okay, and then we will do a new box probably, and then a new cylinder to be able to get the little handle in there. Okay, have that go back in. Okay, let's do just a little bit more advanced. So we'll do this as okay, so this is the front, right? So we have our mannequin, and this is the front of this. So I'm going to do an inset on this, like so. And then I'm going to refine this shape a little bit. Get a little wider. Closer in. We'll take a look at it. Try to match our reference a little bit, and move that down a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so we got like a little bit here, and I just want to make sure that, yeah, okay, so that's actually further up there. We're actually gonna move this stuff down a little bit, I believe, like so. Okay, that's cool. All right, and then we'll go back to our face, and then I'm going to do extrude along normal. Get this out a little bit more, like so. Okay. And then do another inset. Very simple box modeling methods. Nothing too complex. Okay, so that's gonna do 1, 1, 2. All right, that's good enough. All right, and then I'm gonna take this, and then I'm gonna do it way in there, because I want to actually make this so you can actually open this drawer, like so. So I'm gonna figure out how deep do I want the drawer to actually go. So I'm gonna have this like maybe about halfway, maybe there. That's fine. All right. So now this is our object there, right? We'll do another box probably. So that's cool. We'll have it there. Then we'll go to our front view and then do add cube. We generally get it the right size. Okay. Object mode. Put that in there. Put this up here. Oops, that's not what I want. A little bit less, like so. Okay. All right. Going back and forth between our different selection methods. Okay. Alright, back to that. Alright. And let's do a small little extrude. Okay, and then we'll do like that. Extrude along normal, like so. And a little more. Okay. Alright, that's cool. Alright. So again, our pivot is like off on this. So let's go to set origin to the middle of the geometry. Yep, like that. And then now this is our drawer. However, we have a problem because there's no inside to the drawer. So we need to be able to, let's say, just turn this off for a second, and then we'll go back to our edit mode, select that, and then we'll inset our face, and then extrude along normal down to there, and refine the shape like so. Okay. All right. And the only thing that we're missing now is this little handle. So we're going to go and make a new primitive. So I'm going to go back to object mode, and I'm going to Control S to save. Check time. Yep. All right. Object mode, and then we'll do a cylinder. This is a big cylinder. I'm going to make sure this is 16 sides. And then I'm going to rotate this, make sure this is set to 90 degrees, and then I'm going to scale it down to be a smaller size, and generally put this in the general location I want it to be. Go to the front view. Okay, continue to refine the scale and size and position until I am satisfied with where it lives. Okay. Alright, so this has a base and then like a handle to it. So I'm going to refine this. So that's our base kind of connection to the actual siding there. So I'm going to extrude this out on the normal more. Okay, and then I'm going to scale it to be down like that a little bit. Maybe move it in a little bit more. Okay, scale out along the normal, like so. And then I'm going to select this and then scale along the normal, like so. Move this out. So that's pretty close. Do like a little bit more, maybe another inset. Then move this out a little more. Kind of have a little bit more of a rounded shape like that. Then like a little bit in the center. Like we don't necessarily need too much more, but maybe just a little bit. Okay, that's fine. All right, and that's generally what we need, but you can still see that this is very faceted. So we can go to our edit and select all of it again, and go to smooth, smooth shaded. So the thing is that you can see that certain parts are smooth, which is good on the model here. But then we also know that certain things are supposed to be sharp as well. So you need to be able to have both sharp and smooth areas on this in particular. So we actually want to go in and go to our edit mode and then select a few of these edges like so. And we need to be able to mark them as sharp. That's one way to do it. Yeah, let's do it this way. Let's have like a little bit of a bevel, like that. There we go. That way we can still get the smoothness, but also still have the bevel on it, and that'll be fine. All right, let's take a look at it. Looks a little big to me, so I'm actually going to make this a little smaller. Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good to me. All right, and then turn everything back on, like so. Okay. All right, so we still got like one other piece, which is this piece here, basically similar to what we had before. So I'm actually going to Control C and Control V, and I'm going to move that over there. And from here, I'm actually going to subtractively delete some of this stuff. So I'm going to take all this stuff and delete by face, and find the parts that I need. I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so that's basically the shape that I need. However, this is now a open back. So I actually need to fix this. So I'm going to select this one and this one, and I'm going to use what's called a bridge operation. So I'm actually going to bridge between these two pieces. You could go and actually go and extrude this edge along here, and then go and select this, and then select this vert, and then go to where are you? Vertices, and then what is it? M? Yeah, it's M. Yeah, M for merge, and then merge last. That is one way to do it. Oops, wrong button. There we go. So that's two ways to do the same thing. Both are very important. You also probably want to know how to use the knife tool. The knife tool allows you to be able to cut in various ways to be able to add specific cuts in different areas, like so. And this is also a very useful tool as well. There's a lot of different tools here to be able to get the shape you want, but it just depends on what the overall shape is. Do the bridge again. Okay, that's fine. All right, and we'll generally get the pivot back to the geometry. Then we'll kind of generally put this back into place. Oops. Like so, and then we'll rotate it 90, oops, 90, there we go. And generally get this back into place, and I'm going to go to the orthogonal view here so I can see if it's going to match up exactly. Okay. And generally get this in this proper spot here. Okay, so we got these little lips on the silhouette of this, so I'll add some of that back in here. Back into our face mode, and extrude a little bit of that, maybe not that much. Okay, inset, and then once more, like so. There we go. That's generally what we need. Okay. Maybe do one going inward. Why not? Okay. Okay, and then we have our objects, and then Control-C, Control-V, and then I'm going to put this over here. But instead of doing the rotation method, I actually wanted to use a different method. So I actually want to go in here and use a modifier named mirror to be able to mirror this from one side to the other, like so. Although this actually gives me both sides actually, so maybe I don't want to use that. I'll actually put this back that way, -90. But mirror is still a very powerful tool. We could make that work by actually having the pivot actually in the center, if we wanted to. That is a valid way to do that. So yeah, this is pretty close. We still probably want to get like some refinement on the general shapes to be able to make it exactly one-to-one with what we have here. But this is generally what we need. So I'm going to Control-S to save, and I will stop it here for a little bit, and then we'll go and do a little bit of refinement in the next video and do the high poly after that. So I'll see you soon.